Joel, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us here at Turning Point Academy. We love your ministry. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, LifeWise Academy provides Bible education for public school students during school hours. Everybody is aware that decades ago our nation systematically removed the Bible from the public school day. What few people realize is that in 1952, the Supreme Court actually opened up this amazing opportunity that's been underutilized. They said that public school students can be released from public school during school hours to receive religious instruction if the program's off school property, privately funded, and students have parental permission. It's called released time religious instruction. That's the legal term. But we have a program that's a plug and play program any community can implement to see their local students reached with the Bible during school hours, and it's really starting to take off.
Yeah, how many states are you in?
Yeah, we are confirmed to serve, I believe it's just over 650 schools across 31 states, which I don't know how that sounds to you, but I know that when we started this just in 2019, our goal was to serve 25 schools by 2025. That was the goal, 25 by 25. Here we are having more than 20x that goal.
Wow, that is incredible that you've been able to reach that many people. So why don't people know about this law?
Yeah, that is one of the most natural questions is why haven't I heard of this? Why isn't this happening in every community? That's actually the question that got LifeWise started. There's a program that started in my hometown back in 2012, and they saw such incredible impact. They had over 95% of the entire school enroll in this program to be taught the Bible. They reached out to me to say that exact question, how come more people don't know about this? Why don't more people do it? My response was that I think it's because it's too hard to do right now. You basically have to start a private school to get it going. You got to find facility, transportation, curriculum, staffing. So my theory was if we can put all the resources together in one place so that communities don't need to reinvent the wheel, that we can remove some barriers to make it easier, and that's what we've been doing.
Wow. What are some of the biggest challenges you guys are facing right now?
Well, there's the challenges you would anticipate, like you got to find the people, you got to find the resources. I mean, I think our greatest obstacle is already what we've discussed, that not enough people know about this, and so our challenge is spreading the word. But then we also have some challenge of pushback and opposition. There's a whole group or segment, I guess you could say, of society that really doesn't like the Bible. They don't like the sound of kids being taught the Bible, and so they have various attacks, but we're not concerned. We expected this. I mean, Jesus said, they hated me, they're going to hate you too. And so we say, you know what, if we're starting to get that kind of resistance, then it must mean we're actually hitting pretty close to the target.
Yeah, for those that are skeptical, what benefits are there for implementing this program at their school?
Well, there's all sorts of benefits. I mean, if you're a Christian, if you believe the Bible is the Word of God, then you would agree that whether or not you can see the results, there is spiritual, eternal value in sharing that and teaching that. But beyond that, there actually are results you can see. There was a third-party study done that shows when a school implements LifeWise, attendance goes up right away. In a time where there's chronic absenteeism, that's really important. That schools are just trying to get kids to show up, and they show up more when there's a LifeWise. Behavior improves in schools with the LifeWise, and academics improve as well.
Wow. So do you think that taking the Bible out of education in the public school system has led to its demise?
I don't know how you can come to another conclusion. I mean, the Bible was central to our public education system. Actually, more than that, it was the Bible that motivated the creation of public education. In fact, the earliest public education was born out of a desire to teach kids how to read the Bible specifically. But in taking it out, we've done more than simply remove one of the many subjects. We've removed the glue that holds it all together, the biblical worldview that in fact makes sense of all of the other pieces. And so we shouldn't be surprised when we see anxiety, depression, suicide at all-time highs at the same time that we see biblical literacy at all-time lows, because that's the root issue that leads to all those fruit issues.
Yeah. So as a Christian, do you believe that Christians should abandon sending their kids to public school, or what should they do?
Yeah, I think that every family can make that decision for themselves. I will say that my family homeschools, and then we have friends that do private school, we have friends that do public school, and so I think that sending your children to public school is optional. But what we would want to focus on is that engaging with your public school for a Christian shouldn't be optional, because as long as there's kids in those public schools, we need to find a way to engage with them and to reach them with the Word of God. And today, about 90% of kids are in public schools. And so it's important that we are a light to those kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something we want to focus on, of how do we bring virtue back to education.
Right.
So in your opinion, what is the purpose of education?
Yeah, the purpose of education is the development of all that God created us to be. God has given us I have 5 kids of my own, and He's given us these amazing kids that are, but there's a lot of development to be done, right? So it's developing their mind and their heart and their body and all of that, educating them, building them up for them to flourish and for them to impact the world.
We've seen some news articles that other organizations want to co-opt your model, or the idea that we can, if the Christians can infiltrate the public schools, why can't some non-Christian organizations? So do you think it will be replicated? Is that a danger for you? What are your thoughts?
Our message is, don't be fearful. Let them start their program, because at the end of the day, we have the truth, and we trust parents to make a decision for their children. I think the thing we want to avoid is the silencing of religious views. That's when everybody loses, when you silence religious views. When it's open and parents have the option, we know at the end of the day, the Word of God wins.
What is then a parent's role in educating their children?
Well, what's a parent's role is that, and they need to lead it. They need to be in charge of it. They need to be making wise decisions. And so that doesn't necessarily mean each and every moment is they're the ones communicating it, but that does mean that they are aware and they're making good decisions on what to put in front of their children, which is one of the reasons why our program is growing in such popularity and spreading so rapidly, is because parents do want that. Parents want to have a say, and many of them want to have religious instruction as part of the school day. And so, yeah, parents need to be involved.
In your opinion, how do we make education great again?
Well, there's probably a lot of things you could talk about, but at a minimum, you start by laying the foundation of education, which is a biblical worldview. The analogy we like to use is that of a wheel. That if you think about all of the spokes of a wheel as maybe the different subjects or disciplines, so you have history and you have science and you have math, and that's all wonderful, and it creates a well-rounded life to have all those pieces. But the hub of that wheel is the worldview that holds it all together and gives it the proper shape. And that biblical worldview is what is most needed in a kid's life. So it starts with that, and you're not going to make education great again without laying that foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. What advice or encouragement do you have for teachers or even school districts that want to pursue your program, but they're a little nervous about, like, will I lose my job, or how do I even stand up for my beliefs?
Well, a couple things. I would say that really lean on the community. As an educator, if you're a principal or a superintendent, there are certainly doors that you can open, but at the end of the day, you can't really be the one that champions it, and that's okay. Go to your local churches, go to the parents, go to the grandparents in the community, and let them know this is possible. We genuinely believe that God has His people in every community across the country. The people are there, the resources are there. The challenge is that they need the knowledge. And so if you're hearing this, and if you're an educator, you can spread the word. And I would also tell you, just don't be fearful. I mean, the law is very clear. This is a real opportunity. It's been proven now hundreds of times over. So take a step to get involved.